Hi, everyone. Welcome to assignment number 1, where you're going to create a briefing document. It's worth 15% of your total mark. So you started this briefing document to some degree in the breakout rooms today. And now you're going to finish it all and you're going to write it all down. So I'm just going to walk through the steps that I expect you to follow here, okay? So here's the scenario. You've just been hired to work in a relatively new and small PR department in a rapidly growing company. Your department was created a year ago when the CEO realized that corporate leaders could not keep dealing with PR challenges on an ad hoc basis. Many opportunities had been missed and risks were not appropriately mitigated. This is something that it is a good thing for a company to realize. So it means that there are opportunities for PR people like you to help them out. And I think that a lot of companies are realizing this more and more, that they can't just do it themselves with their smart executives who don't have a PR expertise or training, and they can't keep hiring outsourced companies. So this is going to happen more and more. So here you are in your new company with a new PR department, and you're finding that the company's not very familiar yet with having a PR department. So the leaders don't know how to work with you. They don't know what information you need or when to provide it. And instead, you're inundated with diverse requests that arrive with little accompanying information, making them difficult to work through and prioritize. And those requests often take the form of orders for specific products, which we call deliverables. They may say, we want a news release, or please make a video, or I'd like a newsletter, or create a web page. And as we talked about today, you do not want to say yes, and do you want fries with that? You instead want to drill down into what's going on here so that you can figure out what the best deliverable would be for them and to give them the best communications advice and solutions, right? So that's what this form is designed to help with. So you and your director decide to take control of the chaos by developing the form. And what it is going to be is filled out by your internal clients for all the new products or projects that they're requesting of your department. So it's, again, for them to fill out. You're creating the template and the business client is going to fill it out. And the document's intended to provide you with the information that you'll need to build a communications plan and to decide on the tactics and timelines. So this, in the real world, you may find that you are actually filling out this type of a form on their behalf after discussing things with them, or you may even just have a mental checklist of this form, but still, it's a good idea to try to get them to fill it out. You're aware that discussions will often also be required, but the form provides a useful framework to focus your discussions and make them much easier for you and your internal clients. And I want to add that this kind of form will make a light bulb go off in the head of your business clients. It'll make them think, oh, there is a process to be followed when requesting communications assistance. Uh, there is objectives that are needed. There are certain things that they need to find out. We have to do a little more thinking than simply leaping right to the deliverable. And they may start to realize that you don't just have a magic wand to wave, and that these things take thought, research, and time. So it's all good in that regards. So your assignment, create the form, and I'm going to want you to submit your work for each step because I'm going to assess you on the process you followed as well as the outcome. So in step 1, you're going to, I went too far there. You're going to list the information you need, and you're going to think about your goal of creating a communications plan when you do that. And here, I don't want you to write down questions. These are like just a couple of words, could be even just one word to describe the information that you need. So you don't have to explain it in sentences or in questions. You're thinking about, what do you need? You need to know, for example, their objective, right? What else? Think about the comms plan, because this may end up being the potential headings for the categories or sections of the form that you'll be creating later in step 3. And it's not dissimilar from the communication plan's headings. It may not be identical, but there's a good hint for you, right? Okay, so step 2, now you develop the list of questions, probably 20 or 30 questions that'll draw out the information from your business partner. So if you're thinking again about objectives, what kind of questions would you ask to figure out and help them figure out what their objectives are? Because I think we probably will have talked about that people have a hard time getting and narrowing down objectives. So this is going to help you help them narrow down and decide what their very specific objectives are. And all of the other things. I just touched on one example there. That's all the information you need. And when you're writing these lists of questions, keep in mind that your business partners probably don't understand communications jargon and terminology, so steer clear of things like differentiated target audience benefit, right? So the list is going to be long, and you're probably going to curate from it the actual questions you're going to use in the final form in step 3. So here's step 3. Create the form, right? Use the informations you've listed in steps 1 and 2. Organize your form into categories and sections with appropriate questions under each. And you're going to want to organize the form in a similar way to how you organize a communications plan. So make that logical, the way it's organized. Make the form look and read like an official business document that you could hand to an internal client. The title will say communications briefing document. So that's the title for all of you guys. But then under that, I want you to think up a sentence or two that explains the purpose of the document so that when your business client picks it up, they understand why this document exists and what they're supposed to do with it, right? Writing is important. Make sure it's concise, make sure it's consistent with CP style without errors in spelling, syntax, or punctuation. And as a guideline, there's normally going to be 8 to 10 categories on this form, up to 4 questions per category. You can deviate from those guidelines, but only if I think what you've done is reasonable in its deviation. You don't want to have a million questions, but you need enough to be able to figure out what you need. Sometimes one question will be enough. Sometimes you'll need 4. Probably not a lot more, but who knows, right? I'll leave that up to you. Step 4, you're done your form now, but step 4 is identify 3 categories or sections on your form where you think that you're likely going to have to go back to the client, sit down and have a bit of a talk about it to ensure you know that you have what you need to proceed. So I want you to explain why you chose those 3 categories, and please use clear and concise language for that. So you're going to explain to me why you think those 3 categories are the ones where further discussion is going to be required. Okay, so that's it. If you need further guidance from me about this assignment, it's best to talk to me between 2 and 4 today, Friday, through the Zoom invitation that you sent for the afternoon, the open session. If you can't make that, please send me an email at m.fitzhenry@shaw.ca, and I will try to find another time for us to have a quick chat about it. So just to make sure you don't go off in the wrong direction. Okay, thanks very much. Good luck.